Hey everyone, welcome to another series as part of Vedcraft. In today's session, we are going to do a technology review for MongoDB. And MongoDB, as you know, is not only nowadays a database, but it has also evolved as an application platform. So MongoDB, as we know, it's founded in 2007. It came out from Google DoubleClick. It's one of the major open source database and got publicly listed, and it's worth $30 billion and more. It's emerged as a major NoSQL database, and today's world, it's not a surprise. They have both community and enterprise edition. Recent times, and last year, in fact, a couple of years back, they launched their platform, which is known as MongoDB Realm. And MongoDB Realm is their developer platform to make sure you can do app development powered by their MongoDB database platform hosting solution, and in the cloud as a SaaS offering, they're calling it as MongoDB Atlas, and which is a fully managed service offering by them. The interesting thing to note here is that now MongoDB is also evolving to provide end-to-end capabilities like search and charts and all that. So let's talk about MongoDB Atlas. It's a multi-cloud solution. It's a multi-cloud data platform, which is you can host your data in any of the cloud providers. It's definitely an abstraction built on top of AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, so that you have a choice. You can host it any key cloud service provider, and you don't need to worry about infrastructure provisioning. They have serverless mode and dedicated mode, so that they take care of it as a managed service, and it's pretty scalable using the cloud as the backbone. High availability, security, and durability all comes as part of the cloud platform, secured by VPC and all. Typically, they provide 3 different options. You can choose serverless, which is a new feature, so that you don't want to manage anything at all. It's also, they do have a dedicated and shared hosting options where you can pay money on a monthly basis as part of dedicated cluster or shared cluster. So they have these 3 offerings which you can pick and choose based on what you need. Serverless is good because serverless is where you don't need to worry about upfront costs. You can focus on procuring the database and then using it as you go, the typical cloud principle. So MongoDB Atlas, it's also expanding itself in terms of different areas. Like 2 areas I just want to highlight is what I noticed is search and data lake. Search is because they felt search is it's one of the key capabilities any database is nowadays. Most of the database vendors are going towards providing the full text search experience and giving the domain logic to do search logic and do all type of search support like fuzzy search, synonym search, and all that. And also there is a end-to-end kind of a platform, like you can do a visual editing, and it's all possible in MongoDB because they have already a solid foundation as a MongoDB database. Similarly, on the data lake, because now data lake is getting popular to get all the raw data in one single place. So you can build your data lake using MongoDB. And I know there are many great players out there, and MongoDB is getting into that space where you can operate as a serverless data lake. Right now, they support AWS S3 and MongoDB, of course, but it's going to be very interesting to see how the data lake evolves, considering it's a multi-model. MongoDB is a multi-model support, right? So data lake is, I would relatively think it's a new area to explore, and we'll see how it goes for MongoDB. The other thing which I'm really evaluated, and it's very fascinated how they have launched the MongoDB developer platform called MongoDB Realm. And I personally experienced it, and we'll see a demo as well. You can see that it's a complete end-to-end, you can say, right now for developing your mobile and web apps. It provides your static website hosting. It takes care of your data sync from mobile device to your server side, and gives you access to the functions as a service, like serverless functions. And you can use modern approach like GraphQL. I think it's very interesting to see how it's going to appear. And they do have support for different, programming languages and all. And the dashboard looks very cool. So why MongoDB Realm? If you look at from 50,000 feet view, the tip of the iceberg kind of view is that, as a user, I just have 3 steps. I send a request, I receive a data, and I update the UI. But what it does is the complexity behind syncing the data, how you are sending the request, if there are timeouts handling, if the response has any issue, and all that data conflicts when you're dealing with typical mobile app development, it gets taken care by with the platform. So it's very interesting, and I like the way they have depicted on their white paper, is that how complex it is. You don't need to understand the complexity. You can focus on the business logic. And MongoDB, the data sync approach takes care of syncing the native data from your mobile device to the, the backend database like MongoDB hosted on the cloud. So, all the complexity as a mobile developer, you don't need to worry about. That's the essence of it. And one thing which is coming out pretty solid for them is, how they are thinking about the roadmap, the future vision, right? So MongoDB Charts, again, it's a new capability, relatively new if you compare with the market landscape, but it helps you to visualize the data in the typical chart fashion, and it's powered by, again, the backbone is MongoDB database, and you can use it to visualize your business data, and they have a SDK support, so you can customize it as well. So I like the MongoDB Charts, and it's coming out to be that the way they are envisioning is, how you can provide the end-to-end architecture, not only the backend or database architecture. It's also about the front-end architecture, that you can do a complete web hosting and app hosting, as well as, how typically there is in a multi-tier architecture, you have a front-end side of the world where you are hosting your HTML, CSS, and everything. And that's what they are planning. And right now they're offering is, how you can host the entire capability on MongoDB itself. So it's not just the database, it's more evolving as a platform, which can give you the business logic processing, which can give you the services, which can give you the storage as well. So it's evolving and as an end-to-end architecture. That's the essence of it. The part which, and I like the white paper which they published, is where they're showcasing that how front-end tier and back-end tier can be completely managed by MongoDB as a cloud platform, and pretty much standard in any cloud architecture where the front end and back end are hosted separately, or something which is evolving as a cloud platform for especially for developing mobile or web app. So the reference data platform which they have showcased, again, the data has always been a focus area. It's a data company, so data at edge is how you can bring it closer to the user, and what are the different services they are envisioning, and how the charts can help, how the connectors with different data streaming engine like Kafka, Spark can help. All that's something which they are developing as part of the data service tier. And the data layer is their strongest layer, because it's already powered by your 15-year-old technology like MongoDB. So pretty much evolving at all 3, you can say, stages of your data, is how they're providing data at edge, using data services, and also building the data layer with the data lake and all. Having said that, is MongoDB the only player in the market? No, they have many competitors, and the way I've categorized it is how their competitors can be bucketed. So bucketed into database competitors, especially from NoSQL perspective. AWS has DynamoDB, there is a DocumentDB, Azure has Cosmos DB, Google has Data Store, and Couchbase and Elasticsearch are also coming up pretty fast. And then there are other players like IBM and Aerospike. If I talk about search as a capability, which is a very mature field, and especially for players like Elasticsearch, which has been the open text search and open source search for a long time. Redis has been open source, and they're also focusing a lot on search capability. Hazelcast and is a search specialist company. Gigaspaces or their Oracle Coherence has been there for a long time. Apache Ignite is an open source, again, a platform for building search. And then our companies like GridGain, which are leveraging it. So search is already a very kind of a mature market in which Mongo also wants to make their space. I think the primary reason which I see is, they want to make it an end-to-end platform. Similarly, for data lake, you can see that there are already players which have good market share, like Snowflake, Databricks, and then there are established players like Redshift and Google BigQuery and all. And MongoDB is relatively new, in my opinion, in this space because they have this NoSQL database, multi-model database. That's great, and they have now tied up with S3 to provide that storage capability and integration. But if you look at the other data lake players, is definitely they're far ahead in terms of data visualization as well. That we have, I feel that there are still, because their Mongo is relatively new. So Tableau and all have been there for a long time. Elastic has been offering Kibana for a long time. So visualization, I would also say that it's good to see that they have an offering and they have an integrated offering. So it's good that how they're visualizing and how they're thinking of the roadmap. A developer platform, I like the platform. I have also, kind of in the past I've tried with Firebase and AWS as Amplify and Azure as Power BI and all. So it's not a space where there are many players, but they're now everybody's like Akka has recently launched Akka serverless. So everybody is kind of thinking of building that platform, and Mongo is also doing the same, right? So it's good to see how the market is evolving in that space. So to summarize the key strengths which I see, if it comes to Mongo as a platform, Atlas is definitely a good start. It's a good foundational platform for building mobile and web apps powered by your MongoDB database. It has multi-cloud support for all three key players. It is definitely a suitable database-based app platform for document search, analytics, and storage, and for developing mobile apps like gaming app and all. It looks like very very good platform, rich documentation. I always like Mongo's documentation. It's very user friendly. It's available to everybody. There is a lot of transparency there. Having said that, again, cautions, I would say that, because charts and realms are, what they have kind of showcased, it's something relatively new, and we need to watch for how it's evolving. Data lake is also relatively new, and we have established player. And definitely, if you're looking for a CRUD application where you want to make sure that atomicity is there, I think those are the areas where you might not fit this as a good choice. And there are always concerns about some high memory utilization and all, which I've seen in the past as well. And their MongoDB community, people have raised this as a voice of concern. So I think from overall perspective, what I would rate now from the technology, as a reviewer of the technology, and that's my personal perspective, it's something which is based on what I have evaluated and what I have gone through the platform. I've been using Mongo for a long, so I've seen that architecture and future roadmap very solid. That's why I'm giving 5-star, 5 out of 5. They are really thinking hard, and they are really establishing how and where they want to go to. Scalability, I've just I think 1 star less because of memory. I still feel that there's something which need to be addressed, and there are areas where they need to make sure that scalability and high availability remains on top of their agenda. Security, 4-star. Cost and licensing, very impressed with how they have opened up the Mongo platform to everybody. You can go and experience the platform yourself. And the multi-cloud platform, the only reason why I gave 4-star, because of the reason that they are not supporting other cloud players. Now I'm pretty sure it's on their roadmap, but apart from Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud, now there is like IBM Cloud and Oracle Cloud, and there are many cloud players, are Alibaba. They're all evolving, so we need to see that how it evolves along with Mongo. And I really like their enterprise support and developer support. Really, it's been there since Mongo is the been there in open source since I think 2007. There are around 20 million plus developers, and if across the world using it, and 200 million I think is the number where the number of downloads we see. The cost of licensing is also very kind of transparent. More than 1.5 billion universities registrations. So it's very solid open source platform. So that's why I've given 5-star, because it's again transparent. One of the best open source I would say that I like about. Extensibility is also good, and customer base, and a lot of 30,000 customers in 100 countries. That's what they quote. So pretty much 5-star for me. So that's my assessment for giving, and definitely a thumbs up for MongoDB as a database. MongoDB as a realm, like I said, that it's something evolving, but it's a good start. Definitely for smaller apps, you can try it out and see how it goes, and before you start adopting for large scale implementation. For MongoDB charts and all, I would say that again, you can do it and use it for experimentation and POCs and see how it goes, how the business likes it. And then because there are like matured players like Tableau and Elastic and all, they have been in this area for a long. Data Lake as well, it's something which is very nice to see how it offers that capability. So if your use cases, you are with NoSQL database like Mongo, and you just want to have non-structured data as well as some structured data and ingestion, and your use case is pretty much not so complex, then you can still use it. And like I said, you can use it for experimentation purpose. So that's my overall assessment. Good platform, and best of luck for their roadmap. So let's look at the MongoDB Atlas platform and MongoDB Cloud platform. So I already registered. So if you log in to the dashboard, you will see the Atlas and the Realm and the chart. So first thing is that you need a database, right? So you can create database by clicking here. You can choose between serverless, dedicated, and shared. And then choose what the cloud service provider you want to go with, and the region and all the details. And then it's nicely displaying the cost over here. You can choose the cluster configuration, as well as different options. You see a long list of options here. Based on what you need, you can choose that cluster size if you're using the dedicated mode. If you go for serverless, which is still in preview, you don't need to do all of that. So pretty nice, right? So go back to the dashboard. I already have a provisioned cluster, and you can see all the nice details here. And you can update because I'm on a free tier. And you can see the details on what I created. It's linked already to my Realm app and the search index. So pretty cool, right? So the next part is the data lake. You can create a data lake from here, connect to your MongoDB or S3, and then start working on the data lake service. Data services, they have recently, it's still in preview mode. You can enable the data API on this one, and then start using that if you want to. That's pretty neat as well, because that's a new service, and it enables you to expose the data from your, the backend database. So while this one is in progress, you can have a quick look at all the database access. You can link it to your security system and all, but that's not we are going to look into. Is the second part, which I want to show you, is the Realm, which is their the new app dev platform. So I already have one app created, task tracker, and it's a React based app. So essentially doing not much. It's just you log in. It's a sample app which they published. You can add a task, do dishes. Okay. And the data gets saved to the MongoDB. You can see how many app users are, what is the number of requests, data transfer, and all the details. When you click on it, you can open up the app, and you can see that, how, what is the schema and the database behind this app. You can view that. You can see the app users, 3 users. This my app people have registered. You can configure the authentication from here. What do you want to do? You have access to the SDK for this is for developers looking at how you want to sync the data, enable the GraphQL. This is nice console for GraphQL API, exploring with it and using it, configuring it. Functions is how you build your business logic. You can see that I already have 4 or 5 functions. You can edit the function from here. This is something which is in JavaScript, so you can node JavaScript, so you can publish the function from here. You have your HTTPS endpoint, the endpoint which you are looking here, and you can view the linked database, which is the MongoDB cluster. And this is the hosting part, that where my static, the front end part is hosted. And this is your static files hosted, pretty sure on AWS S3. And you can also access the logs, which is again neat, very neat and handy. So you can see how integrated it is. Realm is really looking cool. And I'm pretty impressed by what they are offering right now. Apart from that, they have Charts, which also got recently launched. So Charts is similar to, like I said, Elastic has already been offering Kibana. I just created a dashboard. So I'm just going to show you quickly that how the dashboard should looks like. So I've created one chart, but you can create as many in this dashboard. Click here to add a chart, choose what kind of chart you want. Pretty handy, pretty neat, looking very nice. You can choose from the database category and all data source. You can, select the data source and visualize what kind of chart you want to build. So again, nice start to give us as an integrated offering. So that's pretty much it. I think I like the whole platform. I think it's very nice and clean and looking good from overall end-to-end app development perspective. So I hope you like the technology review, and you will see the more reviews of other platforms, and hope to see you there. Thank you.